And we're recording.
Okay, it's Deborah Criddle and Mark Jones. I would just like it known. This is episode what, 5?
6.
6. We're rocking and rolling. We're awesome. This is awesome. I also would just like everybody to notice my different background because old nerd over here told me I don't have to have a soundproof room. I am in a soundproof room, but you don't need that, just in case you want to know.
She also has an underground bunker, ladies and gentlemen, just in case the apocalypse comes.
The zombie apocalypse. Yeah. I'm prepped.
Yes.
Yes.
And we started digging last week, so we're getting ours prepped.
We got frozen ground. So no more digging. Good thing I was prepared before it snowed.
Yeah. So before we get started, Deb, I want to ask, what did you think about the Champions Club in Florida? That was my first one with Man Mortgage.
Clearwater Beach, Florida. This was a gift from one other branch manager. Well, actually, the real estate agent that helped me buy my second home, they bought us sweatshirts while we were down there. But it was cool. I've been to a couple of them. I think that's the Champions Club is kind of a newer thing at Man Mortgage. Mm-hmm. And that was definitely better organized. I don't even know if organized is the word, but there was a little bit more activities and more things that were lined up. Yeah. It was cool. It was way cool to rub shoulders with the higher loan officers of the company.
And I felt like it was like every hour there's something to do. It was very, scheduled, very organized, like you said. And we got a lot of productivity out of it, especially with the top loan officers. The panel was awesome. The podcast that we did in the beginning throughout were awesome. The discussion with what did SIM stand for? SEM?
Senior Executive Management.
There you go. The SIM. That was pretty cool to hear transparently with no filter what's going on and where we plan to go as a company. Gives me a lot of optimism, which I'm already pretty optimistic.
Yeah. And I think I don't have a lot of experience with other mortgage companies because where I came from, we were a broker. And then when everything shifted in the market, we joined with Man Mortgage. So this is kind of all I've known. And I'm not going anywhere. It's just, there's too many people that we come in contact with that are our vendors, credit reporting companies, Ken Perry from the Knowledge Coop, which is huge into mortgage education. He's like, Man Mortgage they're different. They're just different. Yeah. And I want to be different. I don't want to be somebody's number. I just want to, when the CEO of the company walks in and will give you a hug, if you are comfortable with a hug or a high five, whatever you're comfortable with, and I'm a hugger. So I'm like, come here, Don man, everybody give me a hug.
He's pretty freaking awesome. I will not say the joke, but I loved his joke during that last casino night dinner. I'm going to find a way to incorporate it somehow into my podcast or something. I'll change some of the things. Maybe I won't be an Irishman. I'll be like I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good egg. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is credit tips, which is kind of funny because every single day we talk to different stages of life people who have no idea what credit even is to people who think they know everything about credit. And it's super fun to
hear them give their expertise. Yes.
Yeah. Google knows a lot, but sometimes we're in the trenches and get to actually see it come to fruition. So
yeah, especially with the experience that we've had. I mean, a lot of folks in our position are not necessarily credit experts, but over time we begin to start seeing patterns. We begin to start utilizing the tools that we have on our side to help advise customers on the right thing to do. And more times than not, it saves them a ton of money with the whole credit repair thing that people sign up for and pay a bunch of money and then come to us and we tell them, hey, we've got to remove some of these disputes.
All of them. I'm sorry. You can't do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the hardest thing is having them, we've paid for 2 years worth of credit fixing. And I'm thinking, what did you start with if this is what you have right now after 2 years?
Good point.
Ugh.
So yeah, we've prepared a little presentation of key points that we want to run through, and we'll give you our opinions. We'll give you our take on it. But without further ado, let's run through this. So credit one-on-one, what you need to know. It's just the basics, but we're going to be going over introduction to credit, the types of credit. We'll do a little mythbuster scenario, what influences the credit itself, the effects of derogatory credit, and then we'll wrap it up with some tips and tricks to securing and maintaining good credit at the end. So the ability, what is credit? Credit is the ability to borrow money with the understanding that you'll pay it back later, kind of like an IOU, but there are different magnitudes, different levels of credit. And I'll let Deb go over the different types of credit that there are.
Okay, so and on top of that, what credit is, it's this neat little report that dictates our life, right? You can't do anything without a credit report. Everything we have is revolving around a credit. I don't know when it happened, but used to not even have credit affect your car insurance, but now it does. So everything, and cell phones, you can't get cell phones.
That's right.
Okay, so the different lines of credit, the first one is revolving. That's going to be your credit cards, things that you can borrow against, pay back, borrow against, pay back. It's usually unsecured. A little piece of plastic is what you have that shows you owe them money. There's not really anything tangible behind it that they're taking as collateral. Pretty risky. It's a pretty risky loan because there's nothing for them to take back. But interest rates are the big trade-off. We talked about this earlier that I don't think you can find a credit card without it being somewhere in the 18 to 30% range of interest. It's a healthy number. And then from there, we go into installment loans. Installment loans are going to pick up your car payments, boats, RVs, motorcycles, snow machines, anything like that actually does have a title kind of per se to it, something tangible that they're going to lend the money based off of the value of that property. And if you don't pay it, they're going to come pluck it. And then
except for student loans, they can't pull your degree away.
True. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with advice of student loans. So I will also say, yes, student loans falls into that installment loan. But it's kind of interesting because it's an installment loan, but nothing tangible behind that either.
Yeah.
Hey,
you know what? That's funny. Nothing tangible behind it. I actually like that these days in 2024.
If we
piece of paper.
If we talk about student loans, I'm gonna have to step out of the screen for a minute and find my soapbox. I'm gonna need my soapbox.
Let's talk about student loans at the end. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then the mortgage is a loan that you're going to have that's actually going to be your home loan. It's a big word for home loans, and it's a dumb word. There's a lot of dumb words in the English language. Mortgage is one of them. You don't say mortgage. I have to spell mortgage 15
the T is silent?
The T is silent.
All this time.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have these. You've got this chart. I'm hoping that you're showing this chart. They can see in this open credit. You've got phone bill, which is going to be like your utilities, right? That's where the cool thing about some of the utility companies is you can actually utilize them as a way to put credit lines on. You can ask them to report to credit, which helps in certain situations. And then if you choose to not make payments on some of these neat little credit lines you've opened, it turns into a derogatory line of credit, which hurts your scores, which makes us cry, which makes us have to lecture you. Don't do that. Pay your bills, fool. That's the answer there. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so moving on, now that you guys have an understanding of the different types of credit, we're going to go over what influences your score. So I've got a couple of scenarios here that we can play Mythbuster, and I'm going to ask you the question of the scenario, and let's see if you get these right, Deb. So Danny Johnson here, he believes that checking his own credit score for a mortgage will negatively impact his credit score. Is he right?
Ooh, this is a yes and no.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, so there was a law passed, a rule, a guideline. I think it's a law that if you pull your credit report for the purpose of obtaining credit between zero, like day one of pulling that credit, Is it a 30-day window or 45? I was always told
it is a 30 to 45 day window simply because the credit agencies and trade lines report on different days. So that's why they give it a window.
Okay.
And I see where you're going with this, but this just has to do with Danny pulling his own credit.
Oh, not a mortgage. He's just pulling
Not
it
a
on.
mortgage.
Oh, he just went to freecreditreport.com or annualcreditreport.com.
Credit Karma, all these Wahoo places. Yep.
Okay, no. It's a soft inquiry. It's not going to hurt him all. See how I went off on my tangent? Welcome to living in my life. Yeah.
You are correct.
You had one job, Deb. One job.
One job. So Danny can pull his credit, and you as a consumer, if you're listening, can pull your credit not once, not twice, but unlimited throughout the year if you utilize any type of credit monitoring service. Now, the caveat to this is keep in mind, this is not necessarily going to be the exact score that a mortgage lender would use, or an auto finance lender, or a credit card lender for that matter. There are multiple different scoring models, but the one that you use for yourself personally to monitor your score will not negatively affect your credit.
True. I totally agree. Okay. All right. I'm going to focus on the next one. I'm not going to overthink it. I am a woman. I have the right to overthink things.
It's inherent.
Yep.
Let's go with Leslie. Leslie Boatwright. She looks like a Leslie Boatwright for sure.
She totally
believes that closing her old unused credit accounts will boost her score before she applies for a mortgage. Is she right?
Okay, I kind of feel like this is like not Mythbusters. It's let's see if Deb can look stupid on on record. Okay. Whew. Well, I'm gonna say, okay, will it boost her score? No.
No, it won't boost her score. You would be accurate in that.
Yeah.
Busted. So she's busted there. Closing trade lines is probably one of the worst things that you can do as a consumer. Now, not utilizing it, cutting it up, no problem. But if you're going to actually close the account, what it does to your credit is it shrinks the history that you've developed over the time with that actual trade line. So let's say, for example, you've got a credit card that you opened when you were 18. Now you're 30 and you've got your credit in check. You want to start utilizing a points card like a Venture card or Amex or any of those that give you benefits for doing the right thing, paying your card off every month. So you decide, I don't need this old Citibank credit card that I got the first day of college just to get the t-shirt. So you close it and boom, all of a sudden your score drops and you're wondering why. Well, your new history is now reliant upon that new Amex or that new Capital One or whatever it is that you got, because all of that history has now been closed and no longer utilized.
Yeah.
So I tell and advise customers all the time, do not close your accounts. If at all possible, just stop using them. Cut the card up so nobody has access to it. And therefore your history will stay intact, giving you that long-standing history of credit.
Yeah.
Number 3, Sachi Dubois. Dubois. You know what? That's Dubois, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just like, why didn't you choose John Smith?
Normal names. I was showing my range of creativity, okay?
We can't pronounce this lady's name, but we're going to figure out if she knows how to function in society.
Sasha Dubois. That's what it is.
Dubois. Yeah. Okay. I'm there.
Okay. So she believes by paying off debt, it will boost her score. So she's waiting to complete the mortgage application before so that she can pay off her debt and then apply. Is she right?
No.
Why is she not right?
Well, there's going to be a couple reasons. One of them is going to be because it doesn't instantly come off your credit report.
That's number one for sure. Yep.
So I could pay it off today. Today's what, the 15th. If they don't report till the 15th of the month, I've missed my chance. So it's not even going to report till the 15th of February. So it's not going to instantly come off. And if it's an installment debt, some of it's some of it's going to be, okay, did you have it greater than a certain period of time? I think 12 months. I think you need to have I tell my children, I don't care if you could pay off your truck in 9 months, you're not doing it. Pay it off at the 13th month mark, no earlier than that. So that's actually going to damage your score if you open too many installment loans and close them too fast. You pay it off, it gets closed. Did I win or lose?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
All right, good. I
feel perfect. So it's safe to say that Deborah knows her stuff. One more thing that I want to add on that is I've been working with credit since I was 18, owned a credit repair company. That was the first business that I opened. And I've been working obviously with credit for many years, you as well. And what I've seen, and there's no exact science to it, but paying off an auto loan, paying off a student loan, although it may help your debt to income ratio, it is not going to increase your credit score for the most part. Yeah. Revolving is the one that has the most impact on the fluctuation in your credit score. So that's just something you can write down your Big Chief tablet. You know what a Big Chief tablet is?
I don't. But I am a big
those legal pads. Those legal pads.
Yes. Okay. I've never called.
I'm gonna throw a Big Chief tablet up in the editing. I'll put it like right here or something real quick.
No, I'm smarter now.
Let's see here. The next thing, a few things most don't actually know. So here's a couple more tips. So this is a misconception that many consumers have, and that is your job and your income affect your credit score. That is not true. Your job and your income do not directly impact your credit score at all. The only way that it does impact your credit score is if you can't make the payments. So the lack of a job, the lack of income will definitely affect your credit score, right? Another is once your debt is paid off, it's removed from the credit report. It's not. The credit actually stays on the report for at least 10 years. Can it stay longer? Sure. Sometimes you want it to stay longer if it's good debt. And
can we put a little asterisk there?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what's really interesting is people have such a misunderstanding that I don't have to pay that collection because it's just going to automatically come off my credit report in 7 years. Pay your bills, first of all. Right. But second of all, you're right. At 7 years, they have the right to stop, but they can clear up to 10. So get a hold of them and settle it.
Well, that's a great point, Deborah. And in addition to what Deborah just said, there is nothing from stopping that creditor after the 7 or 10 year mark from selling that debt to another collector at a new balance. They'll take pennies on the dollar to write that debt off, secure it on their books, move it over to XYZ new collection company, and that 7 years starts over again.
Yeah.
So that whole myth that people told around, well, we're at year 6. We got one more year before it comes off of there. No. So last one, all debt is bad debt. I personally don't believe all debt is bad debt. I'm one of those that started with nothing and honestly had to use debt to leverage to be where I'm at today. We're talking student loans. We're talking credit cards. We're talking installment loans to open businesses, especially the mortgage. Could you imagine if we only paid cash for mortgages? You and I would not be employed.
No. Well, and we wouldn't have housing. I mean, True. It's not even, we'd be clear back in the 60s when houses cost $25,000 and your neighbor helped stand your barn. That's where we'd have been.
Even in the 60s, I want to say they were doing actual notes. It was just a bank.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There was mortgages way back in the day. Yeah. But I'm just
trading cattle for the payment.
Yes. Your neighbors were helping you build instead of contractors being employed. You were helping each other build houses out of sticks.
Yeah, y'all remember the little house on the prairie? It wasn't the big mansion on the prairie.
It's true. True.
Okay, so let's go with the effects of derogatory credit. We alluded to it a little bit and talked a little bit about derogatory credit and how it affects you. But some of the things that most don't understand or don't know is late payments, bankruptcies, and any kind of defaults. They absolutely will negatively affect your credit. And I've seen it to where, let's say somebody has 20-year history of perfect credit and they miss one payment on their revolving account 30 days and their score goes from 800 all the way down to like a 600. And they're like, well, what the heck happened? Well, you missed one payment, and that's going to affect your credit more so than somebody that misses a bunch of payments, because it's going to take that person that misses a bunch of payments longer to recoup that score versus somebody that missed one. So will it impact your score to miss one? Absolutely. But don't stress, because it will be a little bit faster of a road for you to get that score back on track.
You know what else you need to throw in here with derogatory?
Tell me.
I move out of a rental. I've been paying I've been paying a power bill. I've been paying a garbage bill, and I've been paying my cable bill.
Yep.
Look for your final bill. Don't just vacate your rental and forget, because those guys will put you in collections. And
what do you mean I had to return that equipment?
So surprising. And then also paying your final rent payment with your rental company, because to get a mortgage loan and not have paid your rent payments and it shows up on credit, little hard sell to an underwriter when they have a rental management company as a collection. So babysit those final bills. It's not hard. Just babysit those final bills.
Absolutely. And I think that for the folks that are tuning in, it's important for them to know that negative credit will negatively affect you and your ability to get a mortgage. Now, that does not mean that it's impossible or that we can't help you in some way, shape, or form. Myself or Deborah are not certified credit specialists, but in our own ranks, we are. So we have the ability and tools to be able to utilize to help you, your family, all that good stuff, if the intent is to qualify for a mortgage. If you're trying to get a new car, or lower your credit cards or something like that, go to XYZ Credit Repair Company and let them dispute your stuff. Let's see here. So now let's get to the tips and tricks. This is the fun part. We're going to go over a couple of tips and tricks. Make your payments on time. I think that's pretty simple. I think there's a total of 4 of these tips. There's 5 of them. 5 of these tips. We'll just run through them real quick and then we'll go over our stuff. Late payments can significantly harm your credit score. We know that. Now you know that because we just said it. And I was there when we said it.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Number 2, keep balances low. The amount of credit you're using relative to the total credit limit, also known as your credit utilization ratio, should be below 30%. Now, tip for you guys here, 30% is kind of a standard blanket amount that you want to see the max usage. But there is another break that you get at about 15% and another at about 5%. We know this because we've got the tools to be able to advise our customers on the scenarios that we can articulate or simulate, I should say.
And one other big thing that comes across my desk quite often is people don't understand that logic here is they get a credit card and it's got a $500 credit limit, and they use all $500 because somebody told them that's all they have to be able to show that they can make payments.
Right.
No, just maxing out your credit card is going to kill your scores. Kill it.
Yes.
So please don't believe that. Do not max out your credit, because it just doesn't, the credit score sees percentages. Yeah. And those percentages being lower is more important than if I made my $25 minimum payment and I was maxed out. So Mark, you got to turn your hat back around. That is just not okay. You do not look like a normal human.
I'm not. I feel super awkward with it forward.
If anybody caught that, you should all comment about Mark does not look good with his hat on forward. You look like a goofball.
A or B?
Yeah, go. No.
And we're back.
I know, you're welcome. That'll help you in your credit world, how Mark wears his hat.
Number 3. Okay, don't close old credit cards. We talked about this earlier, but the age of your credit history can contribute to your credit score. So keep old accounts open, even if you don't use them often. Now, here's the tip and the trick. It is true that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, they'll
And what I
close it for
mean
you.
by that is if you're not utilizing your credit, the credit company, when you sign those disclosures to get this credit card, can at any point in time either shrink your credit limit or they can simply close your account out. So it's important that you're keeping a head on a spiral, head on a swivel, I should say, on the accounts that you have, and just use them every once in a while. If you're someone that has already gotten your credit in great shape, I would hate for you to wake up one morning and all of a sudden you get a notification from Credit Karma or any of the other credit bureaus that your scores dropped tremendously. Why? Because the credit bureau or the creditor has closed that account due to no utilization.
Well, and there's another part to that though too with time, because Mr. Criddle had a Discover card when we were very, very, very first married. And that was 25 years ago. That Discover card has come and gone. It's credit depth that's there that's not even, it's not affecting my score anymore. There's stuff that's come in and overrode that.
Sure.
So if you've got this old credit card that's no longer serving a purpose and it's been open for 10 years and you just don't use it anymore, I personally think you're better off to get it closed and cut up and gone than to have this one-off credit card that some schmuck could get a hold of and run it through the hills with balances. So now 2 years, no, keep it open. But if you're 10 plus and you're not intending to ever use it again and you've had 4 or 5 more lines of credit after that, get rid of that. Get rid of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One last tip before someone actually does that is these Credit Karmas and all these credit score monitoring sites have simulators. Now, are they perfect? No, but it'll at least give you an inclination or indication of what it would do to your credit if you close it. If you built your score, just like Deborah's saying, and you run that through the simulator, and if you close it, doesn't affect your score, hey, by all means, go forth and clear the chaos, the clutter, I should say, declutter your credit.
Even with that, though, it would be better off to take a hit a little bit on credit than to have some schmuck get.
I love that
credit.
word, by the way.
It's a good word, huh?
You ever seen the movie Dinner with the Schmucks?
No.
I'm going to recommend that to you. It's a good, clean, funny movie.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know.
Let's see here. Number 4. Regularly check your credit report. I think this is something that goes without saying, but some people kind of put it on a set it and forget it autopilot. If you're not using it, I guess out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
that's kind of when identity theft happens because you're not aware of what's going on with your actual credit score, your credit report, what goes into it and what's being updated. I mean, I'm going to recommend everybody to get some type of credit score monitoring service, pay the $9 fee or whatever it is per month. And again, just caveat, know that it's not going to be the accurate score, but it will actually be accurate trade lines and what's going on with that actual report.
Well, and you can go to all 3 bureaus and you can sign up for their Experian, Equifax, TransUnion alerts, and you can actually utilize those too. And I'm a huge advocate for freezing credit scores. And
yeah, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
That's a huge thing that I push for is you bought a house, now freeze your scores. My children's scores are frozen. So it's critical to keep track of that credit score. You cannot be out of sight, out of mind, because like me personally, I had a couple credit card charges for $9, $10, whatever. And I had to get all that dealt with my credit card company. Could you imagine if somebody wasn't paying attention to what's going on your credit card charges? They got a credit line without you even knowing, just ransacked your scores and just racked up a bunch of debt. Yikes.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is right now with us talking about this, I'll have something scrolling along the bottom or the top that shows the 3 credit bureaus, how to get to them, the links. Now, they won't actually be links. I'll put those in the description, but you'll at least have some direction on where to go to accomplish what we're talking about here.
Good.
Good. So number 5, and I think this is the last one, is diversify your credit mix. Having a mix of credit like credit cards, retail accounts, installments, mortgages, it might actually positively affect your credit score. And reason being is if you've got, let's say, 2 credit or only 1 credit card, well, if you miss one payment on 1 credit card, it's going to drastically affect your score. Whereas if you've got 3 credit cards, and I would say max 3 credit cards for a single consumer, 1 for emergencies, 1 for all your points, and then 1, I don't know, store card because you got a 10% off or something. I don't know. But it lessens the blow if something were to happen negatively on one of those accounts. It's not the only account that you're dealing with. It also shows to us lenders that you have diversification. You know how to handle a installment loan, a credit card, a store card, a student loan, all of those things all at once, and you're maintaining.
Yeah. So in fact,
Da, 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 da.
I'm bringing my soapbox. Everybody see this?
I love it. Yep.
Hey,
I need to make the sound effects like.
Student loans. Student loans are the biggest thorn in my side because way back in the day when I started doing research on student loans, there was this whole thing. You have to have a revolving line of credit, an installment loan, a student loan, and a mortgage to have the perfect credit scores. Bull crap. I've never had a student loan, and I had a mortgage credit model pulled, and my credit score was like 830 something. I've never had a student loan. The problem that I have with student loans is their use is there for the purpose of helping you through school. If you can't, there's some fields you go into that you cannot have a job along with going to school. It's just not feasible to be able to get through school. But there's also jobs that you can go flip burgers, DoorDash, whatever you can do to be able to financially put yourself through school. I've had way too many people go buy big screen TVs and PlayStations and crap on their student loans. Not okay. Student loans are not intended for you to live a perfect life. They're for you to live on beans and rice and put yourself through school.
Ramen noodles. That's right.
Ramen noodles. Yes.
Yep.
Go crazy, put some mustard. I mean, go crazy or put a little bit of eggs in there. I mean, let's just, yeah.
You'll never live that one down. Did you say mustard?
Dude, seriously, make it, drain a little
I'm going to try it.
Squirts of mustard.
I can't knock anything until I try it. So I've got some ramen noodles. I've got some mustard. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Report back. But seriously, in all seriousness with student loans, when you read the how to have perfect credit, if there's a place for a student loan, do a student loan. If you're going to do it the right way, absolutely. But it's not.
I'll piggyback on that. So you thought this was something I was going to disagree with. I actually super agree with it. I am one that advocates for only going to college if you do believe that you're going to utilize your degree. Number one. Number two, I think it's a huge scam because you've got a lot of folks, just like you said, that utilize this money to go and buy other things other than books, room and board, and pay for their classes because, in my opinion, they weren't properly educated on what credit is, how it works, and how it can impact you. Then not just credit, but how money works. A lot of folks just getting into this college years journey in their path have no clue how money works at all.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Parallelogram season in school didn't teach them that?
No way. No, not their art classes, not their, what is that new one that's coming out? Never mind. I won't go there.
I don't know. I don't know.
What is it? The thing where you learn the she, the shim, the them, and the they. What is that called? Something.
I wasn't in school with they, them, she, him, hey.
Me neither. This is new. This is totally new.
I didn't know there was a class for this. I think I need to be educated. Oh
yeah. Do some it's, I don't agree with it, but hey, whatever.
Okay.
So in the end, guys, we've got this little cheat sheet or how to improve your credit. And I will put this somewhere and link it to the description. Maybe I'll put it in a portal or a Dropbox or something that you guys can obtain. access to this actual snapshot of a couple of tips, how credit works, how to improve your score. It's pretty much what we went over in this presentation, in this discussion, but summed up in an easy way for you to actually take it and utilize it as a tool. And right there, the last little piece, it says additional resources. Those are the three major credit bureaus. Matter of fact, they're missing one, and they're missing TransUnion.
TransUnion.
Yeah. So we'll make sure to link that in the description. Deborah, you got anything to add to this?
No. I just feel I was kind of nervous at the beginning when I was getting asked these questions, if I was going to fail. And then I went off on a tangent. And anybody who knows Deborah, I can go off on a tangent just like that. You bet. So, and then my great grandma Susie's once removed. Yeah, that's my life I live in. Yeah. No, I think this is good. This is good. I think so much of this is very repetitive. But what I find interesting is how many times I have to explain to my boys when the right time of the month is for them to pay off their credit cards so that it hits the reporting period right, but doesn't hit them with interest and all that. There's so much to learn. It's pretty basic, but there's so much to learn when it's not your everyday thing.
Absolutely. And for all those nuanced, higher level, intricate details of credit, I'm going to advise you to reach out to Deborah Criddle or Mark Jones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not Google, not the World Wide Web.
No, not Google. Yeah, I think with Google, you'll find whatever it is that you're looking for, both negative, positive, wrong, or right.
Yep. We live it every day because we're awesome and we know our stuff.
And we are pretty awesome. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Hopefully we taught something somewhere to somebody. One little blurb.
And lastly, guys, if you're getting something out of this, make sure to hit that little like button, hit the subscribe button, share with a friend. And who knows,
ask
maybe later, ask questions. And maybe down the road, what we can start doing is pulling a participant on, maybe just a normal customer, previous customer, future customer, something like that we can interview and see if they've learned something, or maybe they can give some kind of insight to it.
Yep. I love it. Okay. Well, until next time.
We will catch you on the next one.
All right. See ya.